Welcome to Taking the Rams by the Horns, a podcast that takes current affairs out of current affairs. This is an award-winning podcast in partnership with Sowetan Live. I'm your host, Rams Mabote. So the year 2024 delivered to us through the elections a number of things. One of them being the government of national unity, which is a mishmash of all sorts of parties in there, and we've been having fun about them. And then there was another one that I like most. Is the sole member of parliament of the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania. He's also Minister of Agriculture. How lucky can one man be? And then there's another one. A new party that got enough votes to send two men into parliament called Rise Mzansi. And then they sent their leader, Songezo Zibi, and one Makashule Gana to parliament. And these guys have never rested since. I have never seen them anywhere else except in parliament. One committee after another, one speech after another, one rebuttal after another. Well, occasionally Makashule finds time to go run the comrades. I think they have to wait for him in parliament while he runs comrades marathon. And then, of course, he comes back to parliament. And then he sneaks out to go watch Orlando Pirates. And then he comes back to parliament. But one of the things that he has done that I've noticed over the months is that he has made it his crusade to challenge something that is very wrong, at least according to him, and I think I agree with it. South Africa is gripped by a spell of gambling. You do not go anywhere in this country and find people spending their hard-earned money and their pensions on gambling, online or even physical gambling. We play the lotto every second day. People are on all sorts of apps betting their money away. I come from Soweto. I go to Maponya Mall from time to time, and there's this corner where betting happens. I swear to you, that place is never empty. And I'm yet to see somebody running out there ululating that they've just got millions of rand. So I'm not sure whether my brother here is gambling on fighting this matter, if he's going to ever win anything about fighting this gambling scourge. Because, yes, it is legislated, but it is run by private businesses who have lots of money, more than his two legs that run the comrades. Well, he'll tell me. Tatan.
Aye.
Minjan. You know, I see you only in three places, as I said. And I sit in my lounge and I see you in parliament, and then I see you doing stupid things like running, and then often where I like to see you at Orlando Stadium. You know, are you keeping well?
I'm strong, grateful. There's a lot to be grateful for. Grateful for life, good health, endurance, the family that I have, the ability to provide for the family. So each day I wake up and I say thank you.
So I gotta ask you this question before we get to the heart of the matter. Do you ever gamble?
I used to, but I was more of an occasional gambler. For me it was leisure, and yeah, that's why it was mostly sports. Like play. If you get time and then you play. You
reckon when you run that 90 kilometers from Pietermaritzburg to Durban or vice versa, it's not a gamble? I mean, I think people who do that are gambling. It's crazy.
We're testing our endurance. That's what I will say. It's crazy. That's why not everyone does it.
Yeah. I am the not everyone type.
You need to respect those that finish. It doesn't matter whether someone finished in 5 hours, 6, 12 hours. It's an opportunity, at least for me. I don't know other people, to spend time with yourself. I sometimes
with yourself and 28,000 other people.
When you are running that thing, you might not see them. You run past places. If you drive there tomorrow and someone says you ran past here, you'll say, no, it wasn't me. Because, I sometimes say, comrades, there's a reason why you'll hardly find a 21-year-old running and finishing comrades. Just you don't have enough problems to think about. for 90 kilometers.
Yeah. But also you have other better things to do as a 21-year-old. But let's not digress.
Solving problems is not one of them. That's why you won't run, comrades.
What got you to focus on this matter? What happened?
So, my political constituency was Soweto. During COVID and after COVID, during the period, there was, like that SRD grant, the COVID grant, was introduced. And the pay point was post office. So on the day that it happened, 3 months, on the day that there was that payment, there was a long queue outside the post office and a long queue in the gambling outlet. It didn't take one to see the connection between the two.
Yeah.
So people would go to the post office, get their 350, and then try to multiply, or with the hope that now I've got 350, maybe I can make a little bit more, so that by the time that I go home, I've got a little bit more. And as it happens, the house never loses.
The house never loses.
The house never loses. Many of them lost, and when you see that, you start, checking, say, what's really happening here? Because I see it in Soweto, see it in Alex. Now, when I go home to the village, people are talking about this sports betting. I will do it leisurely, like I had my accounts. And it started, you could tell that people now are getting addicted to this thing. Getting addicted, the way they were talking about it, how their mood changes as the game continues. So you'll be sitting there watching a game on TV, and you realize that, no, this person is not much interested in what's happening. They are looking at the corners, they are looking at the score, and when someone scores, even if it's the team that ordinarily they should be happy that it's winning, they are not happy
because the odds were for the other team.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then I started working, researching, and because I wanted to try to understand this thing much better. And when that report that you just quoted around the amount that's wagered, and I know sometimes the people in gambling will say, the 1.1 trillion, it's not really it, because let's say you start with 50 rands, and then you win 70 rands. You put that 70 rands, it will record that you have played 120 rands.
Yes,
because that's the way the amount that's wagered, but as I start seeing this, I realize that no, actually, and that's where in that particular report you start seeing that gambling is moving away from the traditional sites. People used to go to the casinos. Now it's online.
Now it's with you everywhere. Everywhere you go, you've got your gambling tool.
And I was like, no, here we're dealing with a problem here. It's a big problem because even the advertising started taking off, and I connect it, and no one has ever disputed this. The growth of online sports betting in South Africa coincides with the payment of the COVID grant.
Really?
Yes. So, remember, when COVID was happening, casinos were closed.
Yes.
But then, people had money.
Yes.
Now, where will they gamble? On their cell phones.
Yes.
That's where you started seeing a massive jump.
So is it just a pure coincidence that the fact that, people had money, the casinos were closed and they were doing this, or do you believe the gambling, especially the sport betting industry, deliberately took advantage of this and started promoting it as an outlet for those who are sitting with money and are sitting at home?
Obviously, they saw an opportunity. they saw an opportunity and they took advantage. More so because we had a government that stopped caring. And I say this, I will say it even to the minister, that you guys didn't care. The National Gambling Board, the National Gambling Board, there's no board.
What do you mean there's no board? It's called the National Gambling Board.
It's run by an administrator. There hasn't had a board since 2014.
Is there an explanation for that?
Because they don't care. There was no political will. The National Gambling Policy Council, up until it met 4 weeks ago, when I kept on telling the minister that this body must sit, the last time it met was in 2018. So when there was this massive shift in the gambling landscape, we had the government, the ministers of trade and industry, who just turned a blind eye. So all these changes happens. The National Gambling Board is not that does have a board. The National Gambling Policy Council, and by the way, the National Gambling Policy Council brings together the provincial MECs and the provincial gambling boards.
Yeah.
Because the people that issue licenses, it's not the National Gambling Board.
Yes.
It's the provincial gambling boards. So these people were just happy. They will just register new entrants. So
you see, it doesn't make sense to me. Because in the same report that you gave me, that 2023, 2024,
yes,
we spent 1.1 trillion rand in gambling, right?
Yes.
But then it also shows that the tax was minuscule, right? The tax that was derived was like 4.8 million, whatever the number is, right?
Out of 59 billion.
Out of 59 billion.
So you have the wager, which is 1.1, and then you have the gross gambling revenue,
yes,
which is 60 billion.
60 billion rand, yeah.
But then out of that, we get less than 5 billion in taxes.
So I'm saying, therefore, my question was based on that if they are getting so little out of the taxes, why are they happy? I mean, I would have thought they're doing this because they're getting lots of money, so they don't care. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't care, using your words, right, if I was making lots of money out of this as a government.
So, and this is the other issue, and I'll unpack what we have problematized as Rise Mzansi and the things that needs to be done, is that there's also, because the National Gambling Policy Council was not meeting, and this is where the MECs, the gambling boards, will get to talk to say, all right, what's the landscape? What are the number of applicants? What do they want to offer? Each province started operating as separate from the other 8 provinces, and then an operator comes and negotiate. And this is how these operators, when they want the license, they'll go to the Western Cape to say, we want to get the license, how much are you going to charge us? And then let's say the Western Cape says, we're going to charge you 8%. They say, we'll come back. They come to Gauteng. So we want to license for gambling. How much are you going to charge? And then let's say Gauteng says, no, we'll charge you 7.4. They still say, no, it's not. Then they go to Mpumalanga. Then Mpumalanga says, no, we'll charge you 6%. Now, this operator could have paid 8%.
Yeah.
But where do they settle? At 6%. Because the provinces are bidding lower so that they get that revenue. Yeah, that's why you have that number. So there's no standardized to say, if you want a gambling license, whether you get it through the Eastern Cape, through Limpopo, through the Western Cape, you are not going to pay less than this.
Yes.
There's no floor limit in terms of the tax rate that's paid to provincial governments.
But the sporting betting industry, in fact, all of them, right, will also tell you that we're doing good, right? I mean, You and I watch Betway
Yeah,
Premiership, there's Hollywood bets and cricket,
They own the entire sports.
Yes. So they will tell you, but we're doing good for society.
Yeah. you know, and it's even the World Health Organization has classified gambling addiction. By the way, it's a mental health problem. Because the damage that it causes to society, to families, to communities is much greater than what is being paid to the sports bodies. But obviously, when you are making so much money from the sports betting in South Africa, what they then pay out as a sponsorship, whether it's to football, they own all the sports now. All the sports in South Africa are sponsored by betting and gambling companies.
Yes.
Football, PSL and SAFA.
Yeah.
At least PSL is a bit open in terms of how much they're getting. I asked SAFA, we've got 2 gambling sponsors or sports betting, 10Bet and Hollywood. How much are you getting? And they said, no, it's a confidential clause because you see, they get peanuts, but someone's pocket might very well be lined, so that SAFA gets the lowest from all these guys.
It would seem to me that sport is very attractive to addictive stuff, right? I mean, over the years it was alcohol,
Yes.
and then they moved to gambling, right? I mean, I remember boxing was, you had those. What was that? What was that? Old Park, right? There was Old Park in boxing, and over the years in football there were mainstays and all of those, and then
You used to have cigarettes.
Yes.
No, you used to have JPS.
JPS, yeah.
You had to have the Rothmans Cup.
Yeah.
And then in cricket, you used to have Benson and Hedges.
You see that? Yeah, that you remember that. So aren't you fighting a losing battle?
No, it's not. It's not. And because of the pressure that I've applied, now the minister was forced to now have the National Gambling Policy Council to meet. And he has committed that, these issues of advertising regulations, because for me, that's the first victory. If
I wanted to go through them, right?
Yes.
So what are you looking for? One by one. I know that there's the advertising issue. Let's deal with advertising first.
So the first one, which does not require a change in legislation, is the advertising. This morning, I left home around 7:30. Between 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning, there's a gambling advertising. Because they advertise 24 hours. There's no restriction.
And if I own the radio station, that's income for me. That's revenue.
That's income.
Yeah.
Because you said, no, maybe the good guys are no longer advertising and so forth. But then all this thing, it's encouraging, it's addictive, it's encouraging this betting and gambling. And I've said to them, and I've met some of them, some of the big players. I said, you see, if you don't self-regulate, the regulations that will have to come, that we are pushing for in Parliament, will not be very kind. And I said to them that it's not an empty threat. You see, now the Gambling Policy Council has met. They said yes. Like the next time Minister Tao comes to Parliament, we'll keep asking him about the advertising regulations. And trust me, they are going to come.
What would self-regulation look like? So what? Rems bet what? Preferably only bet 50% of your money. Like, is that? What do you want them to tell us?
Yeah, I will also share because of there are those that are willing. When we reach out to say, no, you can't keep on advertising in this way, and you do not have advertising that warns about the dangers of gambling and sports betting.
Don't they say winners know when to stop?
No.
Somebody says
no,
that.
No. That's not responsible advertising. So I'll give an.
I agree because losers don't know when to stop, right? And there are more losers than winners.
Yes. So self-regulation will look like, we know that you can't advertise alcohol in the morning.
Yeah.
We know that. The industry itself had to come to say no. Otherwise, if you don't do these things, it's going to be even worse. So I don't want to total ban gambling, but I'm saying, gents, can you not advertise before 11 o'clock in the morning? Don't advertise in the afternoon drive show. And then if you want to advertise, you can do 8 to 12, and then you don't advertise early morning. Then others says, hey, that will be too much. It's like, but if we start coming in, we might actually start saying, no, you don't advertise at all.
Which is what happened to cigarettes. Yeah.
So be proactive. You cannot, when kids are going to school, they're listening to the morning breakfast show, and all they hear is all these promises of riches. There are actually more losers than they are winners. That's why the gross gambling revenue is sitting as high as it is. And the gambling and sports betting industry is the fastest growing industry.
Has to be.
In the country.
Yeah.
And there's no country that has ever gambled its way to prosperity. No country in the world has become prosperous
because of gambling.
It has never happened.
But America did it. They just gambled their way into prosperity by voting Trump. That's a big gamble.
That's a gambling of a special type. We're talking about this one that is, taking as much from the poor as possible. Like there's maybe, let me just say one thing. And I'm waiting for the study. It's like now they no longer want to give me the study after they promised that the people that gamble, what is their source of income?
I was going to get there. Where do they get money from?
A significant number of them, social grants.
So, and I'm saying this very carefully. I don't want people to accuse me of things and stuff like that. Whose responsibility is it when I'm giving money to survive? Am I not responsible to take care of that money and use it properly? Why do you blame a guy who stands by the street corner and sells me a cigarette immediately after I get my 350 rand from government?
So, when you have addicts of whatever, whether it's drugs, alcohol, and so forth, the burden is on the health system. You still, as a government, you have a responsibility to care for them.
Yeah.
You cannot say, no, it was your choice to get addicted. Therefore, as a government, we are going to wash our hands off.
Yeah.
So when there are gamblers, I think that's the correct term that is used. The duty to care and rehabilitate falls on the state, but the state only gets peanuts from the industry. So that is the second thing. So the first thing is advertising regulations, which we are pushing. I will be having a meeting in the next coming weeks with the advertising authorities to start discussing some of the things also with the help of the Responsible Gambling Foundation. We're speaking to that, but we'll continue to apply pressure on advertising, because if anyone comes to you and say it's because of legislation, they are lying. It's not legislation. The legislation says the minister, together with the National Gambling Policy Council, can draft these regulations. So they must do the regulations. They have no reason to waste. And I must say, one province that is trying to do something is actually Gauteng.
Okay.
It's actually Gauteng. They are trying to do something. I did meet with we said we are going to have a formal meeting with MEC Maile, but I did say to him, you are doing well. That now you are bringing all these guys to say, no, let's change some of our own provincial legislation around this particular matter, because it's starting to affect our communities in a big way. So there is that. The second one will be the taxes. We want to standardize. So increase it a bit, increase the tax rate, and standardize it across the country. So we don't have a situation where...
Yeah, they can then use provinces to outbid each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they take the lowest bidder. So that's the second one. The third one is a revenue share between provinces. And this one, I know the bigger provinces will not want that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the situation. You can name any sports betting.
Yeah, let's not name them. They already have a lot of advertising for free here.
Yeah.
You have a chance, though, to put your logo here. I'll take the money.
I hope you will not. But if you do, But we'll just use whatever name.
Rams betting.
Rams betting.
Yes.
Let's use Rams betting. Rams betting registers in Limpopo. Yeah? But the person in the Western Cape can access Rams betting.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The revenue from Makashule was in the Western Cape playing on Rams betting. The damage is caused in the Western Cape.
But the money goes
the
to
money
Limpopo.
goes to Limpopo. So now the province of the Western Cape has got a burden to deal with these gambling addicts. But they did not get the revenue from Rams betting, because Rams betting is registered in Limpopo, so all the money goes there. So what we want to then have, it's a revenue share, because you can tell technology is nowadays. So if I were to access the internet now on my phone, it can locate that I access the internet whilst I'm sitting in Newtown.
Yeah.
So if Makashule is betting on Rams betting and I'm in the Western Cape, then must be able to locate that I'm in the Western Cape. Then part of the revenue must go to the Western Cape, so that the Western Cape can use that money towards their healthcare system there. But at the moment, you have all these. There's someone had sent me the graph because they worked on it, and then they said, Ghana, did you see this? It's like, I know that in terms of revenue, the Western Cape and Mpumalanga are high.
Yeah.
Ne? But in terms of the people that are actually betting, you find them in Gauteng, you find them in Limpopo, and so forth. So you can have a betting company that's registered in Mpumalanga, makes its money in Gauteng and Limpopo, but the two provinces gets 0 cent.
When Minister Nkosazana Zuma, Dlamini Zuma at the time dealt with cigarettes, right? We could point at the effects, right? People are dying. People go to hospital, they die, they get lung cancer and all that stuff. When you have to deal with alcohol, you see abuse, you see alcohol fetal syndrome, blah blah blah, all those things. What are the symptoms with a gambler? When Makashule is this very problematic gambler, what do we see?
So
I want to start seeing them so that I can avoid them.
No, I mean, so one of the symptoms, it's even withdrawal from normal social interaction, because your mind keeps on, it's working and trying to get its fix.
Yes.
The fix is to go and bet and lose money. Most of the people who bet, they lose money.
Yeah.
The companies are not there to win. Like someone had sent me a message the other day, because I know sports, football betting. And it's like, no, these companies are operating illegally. They are wrong. Why didn't they put this market so that at least we play it and then we can get something? It's like, no, they are not in there to make you win.
Yes.
There's no betting company that wants the Panthers to win. No. They want you to lose. That's why they will say first half, either 0.5 or 1.5. If there are 3 goals and you played under 1.5,
Gone is your money. Yeah. Gone is your money.
Gone is your money.
Yeah.
Then the second one, which now it's coming a lot more, is suicide. It's suicide.
But that would be people who lose proper money, not somebody who loses 350 rand. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just thinking.
I mean, it's not just obvious when you are an addict. So and you've been losing. Remember, it starts with 350.
Yeah.
Then each time you get some money, you go and gamble. It starts adding, and then you realize that this thing now I can't get out of this. Because next thing, someone calls, maybe a family member, says, "No man, could you please borrow me 1,000? I'll give you, borrow me 500." Then you end up owing too many people. Starting with your family.
And your only source of income is 350 rand every month.
Yeah.
And now you're owing whatever, 20,000 rand.
Now you're owing. I mean, like, I had someone who called me just that last week. I had some health issues. I would have wanted to meet with her. I won't mention her name.
Yeah.
But she was indicating to me that through online betting, she has lost over 3 million.
No. Again, I'm careful about what I'm saying. But at which point does she take responsibility? I mean,
when she has lost it all, because she was saying that now she has to leave her house to go and stay with her parents.
because if again I'm Rams betting, I'll say, but I never forced this person to bet. I put it out there. I put lots of money on infrastructure, lots of money on marketing, and it was her choice.
There are many choices that unfortunately the entire society has to pay for.
I know. I almost made an example.
So yes, it's a personal choice, but there are certain personal choices that people make that becomes the burden on society.
Who is listening to you? Who's hearing your cry? I doubt patriotic allies are listening to you. They've got bigger problems elsewhere.
Yeah, no, they have bigger problems. At first, it was difficult to make people see what I was talking about, but because of consistency of the message, keep raising it. I mean, I remember when I raised it for the first time, Rams. It was a social development debate.
Yeah.
And I asked the minister whether she considers this as one of the social ills. It was blank. Minister of Social Development. Blank. Then I was like, all right. Likely in 2 weeks after, she was coming to answer questions in Parliament. I asked her the same question. And she was like, no, this is an issue for DTI. Like, no, it's not. It's not. You can't tell me that now alcohol abuse is the issue that resides with agriculture.
Yes.
You can't. But as I kept on raising these issues in Parliament, people started realizing, hey, we are dealing with a problem now. Now, even if you meet Minister Pakstow, Deputy Minister Zuko, Minister of Health, because I also asked the Minister of Health, because it's a burden to the health system. It's like, no.
You're likely to get an ear from him. He's an activist, that one.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, no, he gave a good response and commitments. And it took a while for Minister Tao to understand what is really going on in this industry. And I'm glad that now he has
pardon the fellow, he's got tariffs and other things to deal with, Sometimes other things look like a distraction to him. He's got Trump in his head.
I know, with the first budget, when they were still fighting around
VAT and
VAT, I went to Treasure. I was like, comrades, there's money we can get.
I was gonna go there, right?
I was like, instead of raising the VAT, I went to Treasure. I had a conversation with Treasure. I was like, actually, and when they start looking, they're like, Yeah, I think there's something here. Because what happened, it was also part of the, the negotiations to democracy. Because remember where the casinos were?
Yeah, they were in the homelands, right? They were not in South Africa.
They were not.
They were in the homelands and neighboring countries.
Yes.
Yes.
So now say no, man. You must give the provinces at least an opportunity to raise revenue. So let's give the provinces gambling and this. We will then deal with the policy at the national level, but the provinces will then deal with granting licenses and collecting that to make them somehow viable. But it was to satisfy, as you'll know, who were the big guys who were owning, whether it's Venda Sun, Morula Sun, Sun City.
That the name Sun, eh? Sun, yeah.
It's all Suns.
Yes,
it's
all Sun. Yeah.
So we know. So all those.
The guy behind this also gave one homeland leader a good bribe at some point. That Holomisa revealed years later.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know the story.
Yes.
So some of these were part of the compromises that were to be made in the Condesa negotiations and even with the interim constitution that then led to the 1996 constitution. But I think now with what's happening and how you can't tell me that a sports betting that is operating at the national level, because I can access it anywhere, must just be just controlled in one province, because now it has crossed the provincial boundaries.
Yeah.
It has crossed provincial boundaries. But then where it has crossed to, there's a problem. So there is a conversation around maybe as part of the tax, this is my proposal, that there must be a percentage that then goes to national, that will then be equitably shared between provinces.
But we're also saying that could also raise part of the fiscus.
Yes.
It could be money that goes into...
And that money must go to the Department of Health and Social Development.
Yeah.
That's where it needs to go to. Because
am I being silly here when I think, now that you mentioned the fact that I could be here but betting something that is controlled in Limpopo or Eastern Cape, then I can almost smell somebody in Swaziland saying, but this thing that is done in South Africa, our own people are putting money into it and we should also get a share of it.
It might very well be. I don't know whether, but usually...
because it's online, right?
I mean, one of the problems that we do have in this country, we do have international sites that operate.
Yeah.
So they are not blocked. Ordinarily, you want them to be blocked.
Yeah.
You don't want, let's say, I know them by name because I'm working in the space. Others, they are linked to South African operators, but then someone can go direct to that, and then we get zero. So if you are betting on an international betting platform, the country gets zero.
All the money goes away to the host country.
The host country.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to be done in that space. We had asked a question. They tried to block them, but still we haven't succeeded. We need to block all international. They should not. If you want to operate in South Africa, you must be registered in South Africa, and you must pay the tax, which we are going to increase. And I'm also playing as part of discouraging people to bet. There might very well need to be a tax that the punter pays. So if you have 100 rand to bet, yes, you put 100 rand, then we take 10 rands. The effective bet is
90 rand.
Yes.
You will lose votes.
The country will be in a better state. We cannot gamble our way to prosperity.
Whoa.
So if say for instance someone says, Ghana, with this issue, you are going to lose votes.
Or fund us.
We know it's wrong.
You could also lose funders,
The good thing is that we are not funded by any gambling baron.
potential funders.
But if you do things in a responsible way, you mix your advertising, which one of the operators is starting to do, and those that when we speak to them and they see, because I did spend time with one of the operators, and we continue to talk. And I was like, no, but I had your advert this morning. Why are you advertising in the morning? No, keep that advert for 12 o'clock when kids are not listening. Then it's like, all right, maybe. It's like, all right. But then there are others that are dismissive. We even, there's a 0.1%, which I want to take it to 1%, to propose that it goes to 1%, that is paid to the Responsible Gambling Foundation. So it's 0.1%, 0.1.
If what is being traded is 1.1 trillion, 0.1 is not shabby money necessarily.
No, take 0.1 from 60.
Or it's only from the operating profit. Okay.
From the gross gambling revenue. But we have some operators that are not paying even that 0.1. We've got one big operator in South Africa.
You see,
that is not even. So it says, because the Responsible Gambling Foundation, is it like when they say, if you have a problem, call this toll-free number?
Yes.
That is the toll-free number of the Responsible Gambling Foundation, which there was a point that Meta had blocked them, had blocked that number, had blocked their WhatsApp number. So people could not access the services via WhatsApp. And I had to intervene, spoke to people, the minister, spoke to Meta to say, no, you can't block this number. But the reason Meta was blocking the number, because that number becomes popular than the number of the operator.
Yes.
So when people are complaining that, no, my winnings didn't come through, they
go
to that number. So most of the calls that that number will get is people complaining that, no,
they didn't get what they deserve.
They didn't get what they deserve.
They're not calling to say, I've got a problem, I need to get out of this thing.
Yeah, that's one. But the second one is that then they have seen a significant increase in the number of people reporting as problem gamblers, as gambling addicts. And to be able to rehabilitate and deal and get them on the straight and narrow again, it requires funds, and the industry must pay for that. So not 0.1. My preference will be 1%. That will be something.
Okay.
Because if we succeed in the, which I can smell it now, the advertising regulations, it's coming, and then we get the amount that's paid to the Responsible Gambling Foundation to be increased, and then we deal with the revenue share, I will look back and say it was worth it.
You would have spent your first 5 years in Parliament profitably, so to speak.
Yes, people elected me to represent them, and I'm representing them. Actually, a lot more people come to my DMs on social media. Whenever I give a gambling speech, people say, not this thing, please continue, don't stop, continue. And in the past, we used to think that it's people in the cities that are gambling, because, back home, to go and play the horses, you had to take three taxis. So it was not easily accessible. That's why we didn't grow up with people that had gambling problems.
Yes.
But now you go to the villages, they are on their phone. School kids are addicted to gambling.
Gee, I didn't know that part.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know the part of the school kids.
There's a report which was done by and they interviewed me, and it was done by News 24 around the addiction of school kids, and they focused on the, what you call them, the top end of the schools.
Yeah.
It's like that's where the problem is. It's down there.
So this is not a problem of people with lots of money. It's a problem of people.
It's a problem of people. Now, imagine a 14, 16-year-old addicted to gambling. What future do they have?
They could master mathematics. Okay, no, that's not. They won't master
I've
mathematics.
studied mathematics, and I can tell you, there might very well be. You might think that you predict better, but it's just a chance.
Yeah, there's no science in this thing. So you've painted the picture, and I need to conclude of what are the victories that you want to see, right? Do you have a runway? Do you have a point where you feel that if we reach this particular point, we either have won or we give up?
I'm not about to give up. For me, victory, it's when I can't switch on the radio in the morning and I hear a gambling ad. It's when the revenue is shared equitably between provinces. It's when the amount that is paid to rehabilitate and counsel problem gamblers, it's increased. That for me it's when I can say, you know what, we have achieved something. Will I give up if things remain as they are? No, I'm not going to give up. If until there's a change, and a change that I can see and feel, I'm not going to give up.
You know, you're my homeboy. We come from Soweto. We come from tough life, right? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, of course, we can't say we're as poor as most of the people, but we come from average life.
Yes.
So what if Rams betting came to you with some parcelian and say, man, Tima, man, here, you can be okay. You can also have a home in Clifton.
you know, I will say, because you've got something, let's put it to counseling the addicts, and then join me. Let's increase the amount that the operators pay to counsel the addicts, to rehabilitate the addicts. We'll use some of whatever you have under the table, and then commit not to advertise in the morning, not to advertise to children, because we had that other gambling operator,
Yeah.
under the guise of giving away school bags, branded with your so poor children, because when people want to give away bags, they don't go to Parktown Boys.
No. They don't go to Kesney.
They go to Masupatsela High School,
Yeah.
and give them the bags. Advertising what? They are gambling.
Yeah.
So the poor children are used as walking billboards. I said, no, can't have that. If you genuinely want to donate to a school, you want to donate bags, let's go and buy black bags, unbranded.
So the long and short of it is that you have no ambition to stay in Clifton.
Not through gambling under the table kind of stuff. No.
Just watch that you don't end up addicted to this matter, that you stop doing other things in life.
I can smell the victory.
And I wish you the victory.
The victory
It's
is
very
coming.
important.
I'm telling you, as I said, that operator, which obviously I respect, the show, he has actually spent money to produce an advert on responsible gambling. And I said, no, that's good. I said, I'll even go to X to say, I want more operators to do this. Because if we want to win this battle, operators must take part. Must be able to say, can't go. I said, but even when you sponsor sports, maybe have your message 50-50.
I gotta finish this conversation.
Thank you.
But thank you very much. I really, honestly wish you all the best in what you're doing. The last time I had somebody as passionate on a project. I knew somebody as passionate on the project was Golden Miles Budu with his human rights organization for prisoners. I mean, ever since him, I had never seen someone as passionate like you are on a particular matter. Just don't chain yourself to parliament and do what the things you used to do. That brings us to the end of this episode of Taking the Rams by the Horns. Remember, when you can't reach those guys that need to help with gambling, when you really think that there's no better way of spending your money, you could buy this book. It's only 300 Rand. The best addiction you can ever find, to read. The Sweetest Taboo. From me, Rams Mabote, goodbye and God bless.